What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special live with. Today, we're sitting down with Chris Orbit Brown to talk about not only Orbit Jam 7, the latest Orbit releases, the awesome collab with Aesop Rock, and just Orbit in general. The brand has been blowing up lately, so we are so excited to get together with Chris. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm doing
Welcome.
a lot better.
Good to have you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, guys. And
It's been a big one for you, man.
What was that?
What's that?
You both look good.
Thank you.
COVID 20 is doing well on me.
You made it through.
Yeah, we survived. We got our vaccinations. We just got to drop all that weight now. I gotta fit in a suit in a month for someone else's wedding, and I don't. So, how about you, man? How's life been treating you post COVID? I don't know what we call this zone here yet.
Well, the thing is that my wife and I, we were always kind of like homebodies. We love being at home, watching Netflix, and getting away from the world and just hanging out with each other. That's kind of like, I don't know. That's where I find the most fun, when I'm hanging out with family and stuff. The only difference with COVID is that we had an excuse not to go out to go to people's events, because I'm like, well, sorry, COVID, we can't go out.
Right.
So we're just going to stay in with our dogs and just hang. So
that's like the perfect excuse, because everybody understands it. You know,
right.
Before COVID, if you're like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it, they're like, what the fuck? Oh, sorry, I'm not 10 minutes in yet. What the hell? Like, they're all mad, but like now they can't be mad. All you have to say is, yeah, COVID, or if people are even having events, it's a good way out.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, well, the thing is that like my wife has MS, so I try extra hard to kind of like, stay out of, honestly, like when the mask mandate completely is gone, I will probably still wear the mask.
Yeah.
Around, just because I want to protect Holly.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's smart.
So.
Yeah.
And I'll be promoting Orbit at the same time. So.
Let's be honest. Like, as great as the mandate will be to be gone, I don't trust dudes out there to even have vaccinations, just being like walking around being douches. Like,
no, I got my card right here.
I legit saw a meme the other day. Well, it wasn't even a meme. It was like a text conversation for someone turned into a meme, but a meme that hit wrong. And it was like, yeah, it was great. I was out all weekend. No one even knew I wasn't vaccinated. I just didn't wear my mask. And I'm like, damn. Like, I that's how it's going to be. And it's so disheartening, but like also, it's crazy, man. But you know what? I'm good.
The thing is that, all the people getting vaccinated, they are the reason why the people that don't want to get vaccinated are going to say, well, looks like I'm fine. It looks like it never got me, and I never needed the vaccine anyways. It's like, that's true. But the reason is because everybody took one for the team, and everybody went in together to do this, to eliminate this horrible disease. Horrible virus. This thing is the worst thing. That's Jesus. I mean, if you look at the sheer numbers, it's insanity. It's crazy. Like,
right.
Can you imagine a war where this many people died in this short of a time? We would be up in arms. We would have a national monument towards it. It's insane, dude. It's crazy. So
3 million worldwide so far.
Yeah, it's dude, and in India they're getting pummeled over there, dude. It's
that's the last thing I was hoping, is India would get touched. And they did really well for a while, and I was like, I don't know what they're doing, because India is like packed. There's so many people there everywhere. And I'm like, oh God, please don't let India get it. And they're getting slammed right now.
That's why I just hope the vaccines just keep getting pushed out more and more and more and more. And the only reason, honestly, the reason why I haven't taken my vaccine yet is because literally I've been so busy. I've been doing like, I don't think you guys understand like what the Orbit Jam 7 did to me. Like, it almost killed me. Like it came, like I almost had like a nervous breakdown multiple times. Like I almost had anxiety attacks, like you name it. There was that. I remember specifically, there was one time where I was editing, and I was on like hour 8, I think. I don't even remember, hour 9, 10 in that day. And something inside of me was just like, you need to get off the computer right now. You need to get up and get out right now. and like my heart started to like flutter a little bit. I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? And like kind of scared me a little bit. So I was like, okay, I've been pushing too hard. Let's put that to sleep. And dogs, you want to go for a very long walk? You know, like it was kind of scary, to be honest.
It's hard to step away when you you had so much in the works and it was like backed up. So I'm sure you felt so much pressure to like, get it. And obviously I know you're not one to rush anything, but just knowing that you're getting so much pressure from every direction and you have so much work to do. And I know, I mean, I've never edited an hour's worth of a documentary / movie before, but I've edited 20 minutes of a documentary multiple times. And it is a ton of work. And it's definitely key to listen to your body. If your body is telling you to get the fuck out of the chair, get out of the chair, step away, do your thing.
Right.
It's important, because stress, it brings on so much, like I didn't talk about this. And it's, it's so stupid now, but, like what was like a month and a half ago? I think it was a month and a half ago. I got shingles.
Wow.
And it was just from all the stress from like the Kickstarter campaign, the deck that I'm doing. Like, so the way stress manifests is outrageous, and it literally kills people.
Yeah, it could kill you.
Yeah,
so
100%.
The more calm, cool, collect you are, the longer you're going to live, more than likely.
That's for sure. There's some keyboard warriors that are going to die really soon. That's for sure.
That's why I've been seeing a lot of these, online, fights that have been happening, and I'm like, I don't have the energy anymore.
Stay away.
It's a good approach to it though too. I mean, unless it involves you directly or impacts you directly, it's not worth getting up on it, because stress really and even if it doesn't kill you, it really puts you in a negative mindset that's never great to be in. You could be having the best day ever, and something like that could ruin in a heartbeat, and it's not even worth it. But dude,
speaking of all that positive stuff,
all things considered, this is the dope. This is actually, so this is probably to date the biggest orbit release. I mean, singular release, and probably, I mean, it was probably a lot less. Was it more stressful or less stressful than like the first ever release?
This one, so it's stressful in a different way.
Okay.
So the first one, it was stressful because I didn't know whether it would do well or not. This stress was more of I want to show everybody a giant show. I want to give them basically all the backed up creativity from the last year of all of 2020, all coming together in one day, all in one location, one gigantic explosion. And orchestrating that proved to be very, it took a lot out of me. Like, I don't know if there was twice in the last week, I believe, I put in 36-hour edit days where I would take maybe 2 hours in total off, like walking around, going to the bathroom, eating, whatever. Well, I would eat at the computer, but I remember specifically waking up, or I'm sorry, I was editing through the night, and then I saw the sunrise, and I'm like, well, I have two choices. Choice number one, I go to sleep right now, get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and then get back to it. Or, I'm right in the middle of this. I could just eat breakfast and then I just keep going. And that's what I did. And I don't recommend anybody doing that. It's very unhealthy. It's not healthy.
It's hard to stop when especially if you're in that zone and you're like, I'm so close at this point. If I don't want to screw it up, I'm like in the momentum, and it's hard to walk away from that.
Right. Well, this is the first time ever that I've tried to make a movie, though. Like that's a whole different layer of things. Like it was matching the boom audio with the scratch audio from the camera. It was having the correct, like cuts in the correct moment. Like, like when you're watching a movie and like something doesn't feel right, and you're like, ooh, something didn't feel right there. That's how I am with all movies. Yeah. So you can imagine 100%. Me while I was watching this, and I'm like, this is wrong. 100%. Something is wrong 100%. Here. So I show my wife, and she's like, oh, what looks fine? I'm like, no, it's not fine. Like, look at the cadence. Like, look at the flow of the scene. That doesn't make sense. Why is this scene only showing up for like 1.5 seconds? It's got to be longer. But if it's longer, it's going to push the other scene out more. So I have to match it. So it just turned into this giant thing where it was it was kind of like, the best way I can describe it, it's kind of like I had a 10,000 piece puzzle that I had to put together that wasn't made yet. So it wasn't even like filled in yet. So I had to like draw in the pieces and put it in the way I want. It's, again, this is like extremely hard to like put it into words because this is a first for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's funny because a lot of people don't understand that when you have two of the same thing, let's say you get a video from one person who's doing cardistry, and you get another video from another person who's doing cardistry. In people's minds, they're like, they're both doing cardistry. Maybe one's outside, one's inside, one's light, one's dark. One, like, there's so much that goes into it.
Sorry, Dexter, go get him. Go get him. Okay, it's my guard dog.
Yep.
Oh my God.
The nicest, most sweetest god dog.
Right. Yeah. So feel free to break into my house. You'll be greeted with licks, and they're gonna jump on you and ask for pets. That's pretty much it.
Oh God, I love it.
Yeah. So it's like you really have to. There's so much. You can't just throw video clips together. There's so much that is involved with timing. You know, if this person's doing quick movements, you can't put it next to someone who's doing slow movements. It's there's so much that goes into it along with the music.
So what happened is that so my style is I really love having the cardistry moving with the song. So basically the song itself is kind of like creating this theme, and then I edit the moves to fit the theme of the song. And and the thing is that I truly think every piece of film has music that can go with it.
Yeah.
So every piece of film has music that should go with it, that should be paired together. So something interesting happened. I was editing all the solos pretty much toward the end. The way I did it was I edited the movie portion first because it felt like the most painstaking like aspect of the entire thing. It was really difficult, but with cardistry, I feel very comfortable editing that. So I felt okay, saving that for the end. So what happened was I was so drained, I was so dead. If you go back and watch it, you'll see this. At the beginning, everything hits to each beat, every snare, everything kind of like fits perfectly. And then at a certain point, I started to get, I like something happened to me. Like I got into a trance while I was editing. I was like, I need a tempo change. And I don't know what that means yet, but I need to change the tempo. I don't know how. And I was like, why don't I do this? Why don't I have a song? I'll have a song that is more of a vibe than it is like a bunch of hits to it. So instead of, think of it like, it's a perfect example, the transition between Katie's part, between her part and the next phase, there was a moment where I needed to the change of tempo. So I used Duel of the Iron Mics, the Duel of the Iron Mics song, and that song, if you listen to it, there is no moment where it's like, oh, the beat hits right there, and then it like has this build up, and then there's none of that. It's just this steady flow all the way through. And so I needed that. I needed more of like, I wanted people to just sit and just kind of like be relaxed while they're watching this.
Yes.
And then at the end of that, I realized I need something that I've never done before. So I used a really old song by the Fleetwoods. So a song from I believe the 50s or 60s. I can't remember now. So Come Softly to Me. And I used that. So that was Nick's part, and then Lucas's part. It was at the very end. Nice. And that song shouldn't go with cardistry, but I feel like it did. Like I feel like it worked. Like I don't know. Like so it was a strange transition that you could actually see through the edits. You can kind of see how I was feeling as I was editing it. It's pretty interesting.
I mean, that always happens. You could find spots in between where you're like, oh, I was tired there. You could tell. Whether like color correcting is a little off, or you can always tell.
so what's funny is like I actually haven't seen it all the way through after I released it. So I haven't watched it again just because
I wouldn't.
I've
You
seen
put
it
so much
thousands
time
of
into it. Who
times.
the fuck wants to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
95 million hours in it?
yeah. With that said, I'm going to be teaming up with Ben Dominguez. He's my DP, my director of photography. He's basically, he took my vision and he put it on his shoulders while we were in the studio.
Oh,
He's like,
nice.
all right, this is what Chris wants. We want the lighting here and here and here, and we want this sort of mood, right, Chris? I'm like, yeah, that's actually 100% correct. Holy shit! Like, yeah, hell yeah. I'm like, yeah, you're on it, Ben. And what's funny is he kind of showed up. Like, I asked him to come be on the set, and he's like, yeah, sure. But I didn't really assign him a real position. It was more like, hey, you want to help me out with this? And he just took charge. And I'm like, dude, you're killing it. I was like,
Nice.
yo, you and me, we're going to do a lot more things together. So we're
Nice.
actually going to sit down together. He's coming over on Saturday, and we're going to go through Orbit Jam 7, and we're going to find little areas that need touch-ups, whether it be color, whether it be music, whether it be transitions, like little things here and there. And then we're going to do the final touches on it and then re-upload that Orbit Jam 7 in 4K.
Oh,
Just
nice.
I wanted to do that originally, but it would have taken a really long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just couldn't wait any longer. Like I had to release this. Like
Yeah.
I had to show everybody what we did. Like it's a strange feeling like that inside of me. I was just like, okay, I have two choices. I release this in 1080 and it's good, but it could be better. And it's uploaded right now, or I wait and then maybe later today I'll push it out. And I'm like, no, they've waited too long. Like this is ridiculous.
Dude, let's be honest. Nobody, like, there's very, very few people who watch things in 4K.
Yeah, but the thing
So,
is like I'd like that to be there if they want it.
no, for
right?
sure.
So
As long as
that's
it's
why we're re-uploading.
there, as long as it's there after, that would be great. But I think for the 1080 people, which is what 85% of people that
Right.
are on YouTube,
Right.
so the fact that it will be there and to 100% of how you want to do it,
Right.
I think would be awesome.
And the thing is, like, I don't care about the views, honestly. Like, I could delete Orbit Gem 7 right now and re-upload it as a 4K video. I don't care. But I that might be what I end up doing. Maybe I'll put that one on private, and then I'll just keep the 4K version. I don't really care.
Nice.
The thing is that I've been on YouTube since 2006, I believe, 2007, and from the very beginning, the very first few videos I made, they had music that you're not allowed to use. Like, oh, you can't monetize it, so you better change it. I'm like, no, I'm good. And they're like, don't you want to make money monetizing? I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I make money with the cards, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really need to chase that, And
Yeah.
I'm not casting shade on anybody who does that. Like Chris Ramsey, perfect example. He makes a lot of money on YouTube. I'm not throwing shade. But the thing for me, what works for me is if I find a song and I like the song, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
The only exception is if it blocks my video.
Yeah.
Then I have no choice. Then it's just like, well, then people can't even enjoy it. So this sucks.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, and let's be honest. Like, unless something blows up, it's like, it's. If something blows up, different story, but not a different story, right? I mean, I think what it comes down to is you building something out the perfect way you want it.
Right.
And,
I mean, ultimately, yeah, even if you ended up getting something crazy, like say you ended up getting 100 million views and you could have made like legit serious money off of it, the visibility will probably bring you so much more because of the way you're approaching it. And without question. I mean, granted, yeah, getting 100 million views would be awesome and pulling in whatever that would rake in would be pretty sick as well. But,
Yeah, but the thing is that, I come from a generation of, when we used to make YouTube videos, we did it because we liked making videos, and we liked doing it. And that's why we did it. And the ones that went viral, they went viral. And it's like, it happened organically. Nowadays it's like YouTube has created this atmosphere that says you need to have the proper icon picture, thumbnail picture for the video. So here, watch this masterclass on how to create something that's clickable. Like we want to trick the people into clicking it. And again, I'm not casting any shade because everybody does that. That's just the law of the land now. Everybody does it. The thing is like, again, I come from a time when nobody gave a shit about that. It's like directly in the center of the video, and you're like, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, use that frame, I guess. Like whatever.
Well,
and I come from a time where we didn't have YouTube.
Well, and there was a period. There was a period probably about a year ago too, where there was a resurgence of like, oh, more organic, less doctored looking thumbnails, where it literally just looks like a clip, was being tested by a lot of large creators, and they were seeing positive reaction to it. But again, that the reason they were doing it was, again, just more so like the psychology behind it, not just like, F it, it's good enough the way it is,
Right. But I mean, that goes back to my point. If you look at it, it's like everybody is like, well, how can I make the most money off of this video?
Yeah.
Like that's like what they're thinking. And I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of I'm not going to say it's a bummer, but I just miss back in the day when people just made things because they wanted to, it was different.
Creativity for creativity's sake.
Right. And now you attach a price tag, you attach this monetary value to it, and it just kind of changes. I don't know. Like when I made the first orbits, the V1s, I made them because honestly I wanted them to exist. I didn't really plan on having a dynasty like thing that I would keep working on for years and years and years. Like I didn't think about that. I didn't, it was more like I just wish these cards existed. I love tally hos and I like the circle, and I just wish it was more solid. And I think that would look sick in a spin, like when the card is spinning. And then I love space, so I just like it wasn't this long drawn out thing. Like, what is the best way to make money? It took me like months to sell the V1s. Even like they were funded on Kickstarter. I only made 2,500 of them, but it took so long to sell those.
Dude, 32,000. 32,000 decks. How does that feel? You went from 2,500. I don't know if everybody knows that, but you just printed 32,000 decks.
Right. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Weird. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. I haven't really had time to think about that. It's pretty crazy. I don't know what else to say.
Chris is still living in the PTSD from the Orbit Jam 7 edits.
Right. And not only did you make 32,000 decks, like you probably sold 20,000 of them already.
We have awesome. I think we only have like 2,000 V8s left. So that's pretty decent. But the thing is like I try to make enough so that like some shops can still get them, and I try to make it so everybody has a chance. That's kind of like my theme. I don't, if I sell out in 1 second flat, I think I have done something wrong. Like my biggest fear, like I really don't want like the supporters of Orbit to have to go just because they were sleeping or they had to go to school or they were in traffic or they had to do something for their mom that's sick.
Or they're in India.
They're in India, yeah. So like I feel bad. Like those are like genuine like supporters that just plain and simply they just couldn't get a deck. And like everybody else could plain and simply just be like, well, tough. I got to figure it out. But I don't know. Like that's kind of shady. Like I don't want the supporters to have to go and find these cards for 4 times the value. Like that's insane. Like why? That's hurting them. Why would I want to hurt the people who support me? Like it should be the other way around. It should be like, what can I do? How can I go out of my way to make sure that everybody gets taken care of?
Yeah.
So
that's good customer service.
Sure, it's harder and it takes more of my time, but I don't care, dude.
I said it the very first time we had you on the show, and this is when I first got into cards, and I'm spilling shit all over the place. It's when I first got into cards, and I think it was the Cardistry edition, and I remember I got one and it was all damaged when I got it, so I messaged you and I'm like, can I switch it out? And I think it was a couple. I got a couple, and they were damaged, and I was like, do you mind switching them out? I could send them to you and whatever. And you're like, just let me know your address and I'll send you a couple out of my personal collection.
Mm-hmm.
Just by saying that, totally told me what type of person you were. I said, all good. I don't, in my head, I'm like, all good. I don't need them out of your, and maybe that's a great way to get people to be like, no, I'm good. But like in my head, I'm like, that's someone who cares about customer service. That's someone who cares about the customer. And I was like, this dude's dope. You know, I'll support his brand until, you know, further notice, you know, and that's what I've been seeing since that day, and how you treat your customers, whether it's the whole shipping thing and refunding shipping and you know, whatever it is, it's I see it all the time, and it's something that brands should follow for sure in the community.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like if you see something, you should be able to look at your peers and look at what they're doing right and look at things that you think they could be doing better. You know, like I think that's a good way of, you know, making sure that your brand continues to grow and learn from other people's mistakes as well. You know what I mean? Like you don't just learn from your own, learn from others too. And so I try to stay very up to date with you know, all the other competitors out there, or, you know, peers, or, you know, like I don't really know what to call them, because it's still a pretty young like community, and, you know, as far as card creating goes, it's not very old. Um, but yeah, I mean, I try to look at what everybody's doing, and see the strengths and see the weaknesses and see how I can capitalize into fixing, like getting ahead of the curve before I have to fall down that same pit, right?
Yeah.
So it's but the thing is, the most important thing is, how can I help the people? How can I build the community? How can I lift them up? How can I give them an open mic night, a spotlight, you know, like free Orbit Friday, Orbit clip of the month, just random giveaways, reposts. Like if you look at our grid on our Instagram, it's kind of a mosaic of everybody else's work.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like I think that's, you know, like I feel like people show you who they are, and brands show you who they are daily, little tiny slivers of who they are. It's like a little snapshot. Then when you add all those snaps together, it's like a flip book, and you get to see the animation of what it creates, and you get to see the movie. You're like, oh, this is the big picture. And for me, I've always wanted the big picture to be about community, about like everybody, about like, you know, like kind of like holding the mirror back towards them, you know, like, you know, like when I was a lot younger, I think I cared a lot about the exposure, and I wanted to be at the front of it. And then one of my videos got on the front page of YouTube, and then I was just feeling like, you know, untouchable, and I was like, this is a lot of ego. I was like, this is not good. I don't like this. So I kind of like being in more of the background now and putting everybody else in front. I think that's a better way of doing things.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
It's a good way to be, and you know, your obviously support will show for it. You know, now what does that mean going in the future? Do we see like 50,000 decks or what?
Well, at this rate, I don't know, man. Like the thing is that we sold out. I think honestly, I think we sold out too quickly of the Aesop orbits, but that's the reason why I included I did the 3-phase system, where I was trying to find a creative solution to this. I'm like, okay, I printed this amount, and I thought this was like a good amount when I printed them. And now I'm starting to see maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should have made more. And I'm like, damn it. I was like, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll create a 3-phase system. The first phase is, you know, 90% of the stock is a free for all. Anybody who wants it, come and get it. Phase 2 is, you know, selling the last remaining stock at like 1 or 2 deck max per order per person.
Yeah.
And then the third phase is just basically any leftovers, any like maybe some damaged, some slightly dinged decks. I won't mind, you know, putting those up for sale. And we're still waiting for that because we had more. So in the first week of the release, we sold 30% of what we sold in the last 3 years.
Wow.
On the website. So on orbit.af. So 30% of our sales happened in the span of 1 week. And that was just, you know, during the release. So there were thousands of orders. I've never seen anything like that before. Like I was expecting like 1/4 of that, you know, maybe a half of that. I was just like, hey, maybe we'll get a half of that. I just wasn't expecting it to like explode like this, you know? And I
Yeah.
think the reason why I didn't really see this coming is because I had tunnel vision with Orbit Jam 7. I had my focus was 100% on that. It's a part of me, you know, like it's a horcrux. It's something that will live on after I'm gone, and that I can kind of stay around, you know, because this thing exists.
Right.
So it's something that I love. So I'm putting all my attention, all my love into one area, and leaving. Oh my god, Pops! Hey, I'm on Deckin. I'm on the live show right now, guys. I'm just trying to deck around out here. I'm just trying to deck around. Hey, can you just chill? There's some guys out in our front yard, and they're clearing out. I'll show you.
Oh,
so
nice.
they're clearing out these loquats that are out there that are growing. Well, I have a loquat tree, I have a guava tree, and an orange tree.
That's sick.
But yeah, it's they're just clearing it out right now, so they're making a lot of noise out there. So Dexter's on extra high alert.
Yeah,
I love it. So talking about the Aesop Rocks as well, like the Aesop Rock edition. What was that? Aesop. There you go. How was that collab for you?
Yo, that was insane. That was I'm now like, yeah, you're just reminding me that just happened. So I actually reached out to him in May of 2020. That's when I first reached out to Aesop, and I was like, "Yo, let's make some cards together." And
he's like, "What's that?"
I was like, "We'll split the profit, and this is roughly how much we'll each take from the deal if we sell out." And then he's just like,
"If we sell out."
Yeah, I didn't. You know, I was just like, "Hey, let's do it."
Right.
And he was like, he responded. He's like, "This sounds cool." And I was like, "Babe, Aesop Rock just responded to me. He said this sounds cool." I was like, "Oh my god." So then he was just like, "Here, I'm going to give you the email of Rhyme Sayers. Have you heard of them?" I was like, "Shut up." I was like, "Of course I have." I was like, "What a dumb question." I was like, so yeah, I was, you know, emailing with Rhyme Sayers for like, there we go. Dexter Kidman, the fort. So I was talking with Rhyme Sayers since May, and we were going back and forth, and then I finally came to this point where I was like, I need the designer that made his album artwork. I need that guy.
Nice.
So we reached out to Koro, and I was like, "Yo, Koro, I love your artwork. I'm doing a collab deck with Aesop, and I feel like it would be appropriate if you did the artwork." And he was just like, "Well, I've never done this before." And I'm like, "That's okay. Like, I'll tell you what I'm looking for." And he made me like 8 different renditions, and
Dude.
like all of them were different. All of them were completely different from one another. I was like, "How the hell did you do this? Like, how did you do it so quickly? This is insane." Like, he's been doing this since the 90s. Like, he's been doing graphic work since the 90s. He's a legend. So I was like, "Okay, Koro, check it. I like the elements of this one, and this one, and here's why. And let's incorporate a little bit of like an orbit like flavor to it. Let's put it all together, and let me see what you can do." And so he puts it all together. He's like this. I'm like, "We're close. We're really close. Can you move these trees over here? Can you put a little bit of life over here?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got it." Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, "Whoa, my God." And I was blown away. I was like, "That's it. That's the design."
So
I was like, "Dude, this is the craziest design I've ever seen." And like the video doesn't properly show how badass this back design is. Like, you have to like look at it up close. Like it's like a painting. It belongs in like a museum or something, you know, like it's
dope.
there's a lot happening there. So anyways, long story short, the experience was crazy dope. Just being able to like just talk to Aesop. He's been my favorite rapper since when I first started listening to him in 2002.
Awesome.
So he's been in my top 3, you know, for the last 20 years. Just because like his lyrics, like it's insanity. Like nobody can match up with like what he can do with writing. And
Yeah.
not only that is he makes his beats too. So like if you listen to his last album, Spirit World Field Guide, that's based, it's all him. It's just crazy. It's just nuts. So
I mean, that whole label's great. They have a great label. And
I love Rhymesayers. That's
did you talk to Jake? Is that his name? Jake Schaefer?
No, I talked to Sadiq Sayers.
Okay.
So
I think Jake is Slug's maybe agent or manager over there or something.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So I don't want to give too much away, but
yeah, for sure.
But what I will say that after talking with Kevin Beecham and Sadiq and Aesop, after this release, Sadiq was like, "This went really well. It went better than I could have ever imagined. I never knew this world existed."
That's funny.
And then he said, "I'm down to run it back. Let's make another collab deck together."
Nice.
And I was like,
That's awesome, dude.
And I told Holly, I was like, "Babe, it's happening again." So yeah, we're working on the next one right now.
Nice.
So we'll keep that a secret, but well, now it's kind of out. That
we didn't hear anything.
I mean, kind of a bad place for me to tell a secret, But,
we don't know who the collab's going to be with yet, and they have such a great lineup. Right. It could be a million amazing artists. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. Just looking through their like catalog of who's on their label, like there could be some. I mean, they're all bangers, but like I saw some, I'm like, yeah, like
Atmosphere,
dude, Murs, Freeway, like come on, dude. There could be so many. I mean, Murs is one of my all times, so that would be a sick one. But anyone, dude, it would be such an awesome experience, and I think it's awesome for you, especially because this is really like your first collab deck,
right?
Legit.
Yeah, first one.
That must have been. I mean, hey, go big or go home, right?
Right. Yeah. Aim for the stars. Yes. I mean, like the thing is, I've had opportunities to collab with other people, with other brands, and there's something about it that I could never pull the trigger. There's something about it that I was like, no, and I don't know why.
Music fits the vibe. Music fits the orbit vibe. It really does.
It really does. So if you look at all my videos, I've been using, like hip hop for as long as I've been making videos. So that's like my favorite, genre of music. I love underground hip hop, things that are more word heavy, things that take more skill, obviously, because I like playing cards and I love the fact that you need skill. You need to develop this talent rather than just saying like, "Hey, I bought this illusion and it cost $100,000. Now I can have my own stage show. Look, I'm a magician just like you." It's like, oh, Jesus. So it's like, I just don't agree with, buying your way into it. And then I feel like everything should be earned. Like art, you should earn your position,
Yeah.
And the thing with like, all these MCs that I listen to, dude, that is earned. Like that is decades of dedication and unraveling your thoughts and putting it intricately into words that make sense, that follow a specific flow, a pattern. There's multi-syllable rhyming. It's like super complex. It's kind of like creating like a move, like creating like a new move from scratch. It's like writing lyrics. It's like painting. It's it's like it's art. And honestly, I think that's why people flock towards music so much. It's because it's like people unraveling themselves into music. And it really is. So I'm going to chase that, and we'll see who else I can collab with. I got a lot of.
Dude, if you just bring, all you have to do is say, "Look," you can totally like, tout your own ego and be like, "Look, I collaborate with Aesop Rock, right? And we sold out in matter of no time at all.
Yeah,
and then." whatever you do that, maybe you have V2, V3, whatever under your belt. And then you just get to pick who you want to do it with. You reach out to these labels, because once you reach out to Rhymesayers, they have other labels that they're close with, and they can reach out to them and be like, "Yo, like have this dude do this for you." So once you do that and you're in that world gets very large quick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, that's true. So we'll see where this goes, but that's what's coming next. And the thing is like, I hear this question a lot: will there only be 12 editions of Orbits? While it's a yes and no answer. So yes, in that the 12th edition is going to be the last one. So there will be. I'm not going to make a 13th edition, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop making playing cards. So there's still like side quests to take. There's still like collab decks to make. There's still one-off rare editions like anniversary editions. There's a bunch of different ways that we're planning on going. So currently, I'm working with actually I think in total 3 artists now, 3 different people that I'm kind of going off into different directions here. So, but the thing is, like, it's all going to be under the umbrella of Orbit. So everything will be under that same, house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I expect more decks from us. So currently I'm working on 3 or 4 right now.
Nice. I remember last time we had you on, you talked about basically going down like a philanthropist type deck again, like you did with the forest deck. Is that something that you have in the works, or
that too? That's also part of it. So that's another sub-genre of Orbit playing cards. Basically, like cause decks, like decks for a cause, where all the profits go towards a cause. And I love that concept, and so I want to chase that. And those will be limited, though. Those will be a smaller run, just because I actually do want to push those out so that it can go right back to charity, right back to these programs, to helping people. So it's basically like the card community will be, taking part in helping other people and other things, like whether it be the environment, whether it be the source of poverty, whether it be, so I'm trying to like find things at the source. Doing a lot of things with like outreach programs for kids, after school programs, stuff like that. Like, that's kind of like where a lot of things, whether it's kind of a make it or break it path. It's when they're kids, like that's a very important phase of your life, and so that kind of shapes the rest of your future. So there's basically, like, I always knew this would happen. As soon as I get money, I want to find a way to kind of like use it for good and like help others and like try to like balance the things that are off balance and trying to like write.
You're such a shitty person, Chris.
I really am.
You're like the likable Bruce Wayne here, man. No, you're the likable Bruce Wayne here. I mean, not say you're a billionaire, but you have the philanthropic aspects there, and you're taking your brand, which is continuously evolving, and really making sure that you're giving back to the people who have given so much to you, which I think is amazing. I mean, honestly, man, it's inspiring in a community where I think a lot of times people aren't always looking out for everyone. They're very often looking out for themselves, Yeah.
Well, the thing is that's another reason why I'm very public and very open about what I'm doing, is because like I want to kind of set like the tempo, and I want other people to be like, hey, I'll do something on that scale too, like something to help out. And like, I don't know, like, and the thing is, like, I don't look at myself as you just described to me, like this like charitable Bruce Wayne. I look at it like I'm just taking their money and I'm putting it over here. So I'm just kind of like the avenue that kind of goes, here, I'll take it, and it's over there now. Like, it's not really me. It's their support. It's them feeding this that's enabling me to take it and give it to somewhere else that needs it. So I don't know. Like, I feel like I guess it would be easy to get caught up in that and to take a few extra seconds in the mirror and go, oh, look at me, aren't I great? Like, but I don't know.
See, that humility though is part of the reason why you do this, and that's great. Like, if you were like, oh, look at me, that would come through as well. And not to say the brand wouldn't be as successful, but it might have a different vibe to it. And I think honestly, granted, you are a big part of the brand, but I think you've created a brand that goes beyond just you. Orbit.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, and I think you've done it. I mean, I think there are people at this point in time who may buy Orbit playing cards and not know your backstory and not know, everything that you've done up until this point, and they still love the brand. And I think, you've really succeeded in creating that that brand identity separate and apart from you.
How many people you think purchased the deck off of Aesop's site and checked out your website, checked out your Instagram? Like, you don't know. There's no way of knowing that, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, there is a group on Facebook for Aesop Rock fans.
Right.
And I've been part of that group for, as long as it's been around. I don't know, a few years or whatever. But it's like a cult following. Like these people, they love Aesop and they love to break down all his lyrics and kind of, they talk in quotes, like to each other, like in the comments. So the day that the Aesops dropped, I saw, it was just funny because it like popped up on my feed. And they're like, oh, is this another cash grab, like a merch item? And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, and so I was just like, I think they're kind of cool. And then, but I also I wanted to step back and kind of see like what they were saying. And it was all really positive. Like, I didn't see anything. I think I only saw like one comment that was kind of like $17 for a deck of cards. And I'm like, well, that's just what they cost, like
it's a world they don't, it's a world they don't know,
Right. Yeah.
I think it would be dope to see a deck with atmosphere. I think it would be so dope because they're just the persona of Slug and who he is so funny. He's just so crazy, but funny and super cool. Like very genuine, kind of very sensitive. When you go to a show, he talks about things that not most hip hop, people talk about. It was funny. I shot one of his shows, and I had a photo pass, and on the photo pass it says, "If you see me on stage, kick me in the balls." And it's just like they don't care, but they do it in a fun way. You know what I mean? And it would be cool to see.
Yeah, Slug is kind of like he's kind of like the father figure now. Like he's gotten older, and what's cool is it's dope to see all my favorite rappers that started out like I'm hot shit, nobody can touch me, I'm on this level, yada yada yada, and now they have kids, and it's like it's funny to see like the transition, and to see their content mature along with them.
Oh, heck
and it's a trip. I love it. It's really cool.
No, it's definitely funny. It's just cool. Obviously, if you go see a show of one of them, you're gonna see, because they obviously just take everybody in that label and
it's like a family,
and they put them on the road with themselves. So it's like it's promoting their label, which is brilliant. Not many people do that. So the fact that they have so many amazing artists, and when they perform together, it is literally like a family. And you're everything that cross promotes through each individual artist, you can see it at every show. So it's really cool how they do that.
Yeah. I love the team mentality at Rhymesayers, and they've been around since 95, I believe.
Yeah,
something like that. Or 1980. I think it's 1995. But yeah, it's like that's like my favorite label. But I'll keep using their music in future videos and stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to whatever comes next. So it's gonna be dope.
That's dope. We're excited to see what comes next. And
without a doubt.
Yeah, can we get a hint on when do you think the next? Obviously, we're not going to say a date or anything like that, but just roughly when you think.
Christmas.
Nice.
Cool.
2021 or 2022?
21. Yeah.
I do have to say too, and we touched on this earlier, you were like, I had to get it out. The people, you mentioned earlier, like with Orb Jam 7, the people had to see it. And I have to say, I think out of all of the big brands, you genuinely have the most patient fans. And granted, I think, and it's crazy because I think there's so much crossover between people who love Orbits, people who love Fontaines, people who love all these other big brands, and no knock against the brands, but the vibe you create with your brand is such a mellow one that the same person who could be like rabid about a Fontaine drop getting delayed is so mellow about yours. And I mean, we've been sitting here, like, I mean, Steve and I were talking about this the other day, being like, man, like I've been amped on this since like November, and it's fucking May. And it's like, name another brand where someone would sit that long and just be like, oh yeah, no worries. Like, dude, you do what you got to do. You know, I mean, I know when you posted up with the delay on Orbit Jam 7, dude, I can't even imagine the amount of people who were like, hope you're okay, man. Like, do what you got to do. Like,
that's exactly right. So I was so hard on myself. I cried. Like dude, it like broke me down. Like I was like broken. I was barely hanging on, and I can't tell you like how much of a zombie I was. Like, and I posted this thing. I'm like, yo, sorry guys, I'm not gonna be able to meet the mark that I told you guys I was gonna hit, and I feel horrible about it. And we're gonna try again tomorrow. So sorry about this. And I had complete tunnel vision of just Orbit Jam 7. I just wanted it out, and I wanted everybody to experience it. But the amount of messages that I got, it like it really, I can't even put it into words. It was kind of like you've been beaten down, and like all these nice comments were coming, and they're like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
Here's a cup of water. Here, get some water. Here,
Yeah.
here, sit down right here. Here, because somebody grab him a blanket. He's cold. And I'm like, oh, thank you guys. So like, they're giving me like so many messages of support, and like, don't worry about it, Chris. Like, it'll come out when it comes out. Just focus on your health. Focus on you, and it's okay. We'll be here. You know, and like. And it was insane. They didn't come together and like, all right, this is what we're going to tell Chris. You know, like, let's all say it in sync together. They all just did it. And I, like, my God. I'm not very lucky.
That's something that you've created, and you should be proud of what you've done. And, you know, the cool thing about that is if you didn't have those emotions of letting people down and stuff like that, then you didn't care. You know, and so by showing those emotions, and the most important thing is you letting people know that this was the date I promised, I can't make it happen. You're literally opening up your heart and letting people know the truth and why you're not able to make it happen. You're not hiding anything. You're showing them, and people can see that, and you know, they can tell that it's genuine. So you know, basically what it comes down to is, you know, when you do put that out there, people will support, and they will, you know, come to the rescue, so to speak, to let you know it's okay. Because I'm sure a lot of that stress that you were feeling, obviously on top of all of that stress of creating it, putting out the deck, finally, all this stuff like was piling up. You know, just knowing that you can't meet this deadline that you wanted to meet, them coming to you saying it's okay probably felt good to feel like they support that decision, and it probably made it a little more easier to deal with the decision on your part.
No, 100%. But the thing is, like, you know, this is something that I've said before. I don't know if I've said it you know, today, but while yes, I made the Orbit Jam 7 because I wanted everybody to have a good time and enjoy it, I also made it because it's a bucket list item, and I've always wanted to act, and I've always wanted to make a movie, always, ever since I was a kid. And the thing is, you can't just sit around and just like wait for somebody to notice you and to pick you. Like, hey, you want to be an actor? It's like, oh my God, I thought you'd never ask. You know, I'm 70 years old. Let's act. You know, like, so you can't just wait for things to happen. Like, if you do that, nothing would happen. So I was just like, you know what? Why don't I just make the movie myself? And so the thing is, I actually rented all the camera gear from the very beginning, but it got stuck because of bad weather in Georgia. So I was like, this is bad, because I just rented the studio and I hired an actor and I have a whole team coming, and I have a lot of like, this is a pretty big deal. I'm screwed if this camera gear doesn't show up. So at the last minute, I talked to Sonny. He's the owner at Red Wall Studios, and we've known each other for about 5 years, 6 years or so. He helped me make the trailer. He actually put together the trailer for the V3s. That's like old school. That's like really old. But anyways, I was like, Sonny, dude, can you help me out? Like, do you have somebody that has like a Canon C300 or a Red, or I need something like hardcore, something that has high dynamic range. We can see details in low lit areas. And he's like, give me a second. And then he like texts me back like 15 minutes later. He's like, okay, his name is Michael. He runs Hyperion Film, and he'll be there tomorrow for your shoot. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what cameras is he bringing? He's like, he has 2 red cameras. And I was like, that's good. And then and I'm like, what about other gear? He's like, he has an entire van that's like 12 feet tall. That it's like, you know, that's not 12 feet, but
it's like,
you know,
bro, if someone has 2 reds, don't worry about what gear they're bringing. They're all right.
Yeah. No, he had lights. He had a crane. He had gimbals. He had a ready rig. He had a vest. He had like everything you could think of. Follow focus. You know, like everything you could think of. So I was like, oh hell yeah! I was like, let's go. So
That's awesome.
so when he showed up, I brought them together. I brought the whole crew together like a team meeting. I was like, okay, guys, this is the vision. Something I've always wanted to do. You guys are going to help me complete a bucket list item. This is a very big deal. I'm not making any money off of this movie. I'm uploading it for free on YouTube. I'm not entering it in any festivals or anything like that. It's for me. It's just so that people can see it. It's just so that this can exist. And so I told them everything. It was a strange feeling. Like Holly was telling me, she was like, "Are you nervous that you have to like direct and like you've never done this before, and you got a bunch of people that are going to be under you like at the shoot?" And I was like, actually, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. And she's like, "What are you going to say to everybody?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, we'll see when we get there. But what's funny is when we got there, all of a sudden, the director hat came on. And I didn't even realize that I was putting it on. It was more like, okay, guys, this is what I need. This is what I want. And this is how I want it to feel. Does it feel right? It's got to feel a certain way. Okay. So blah, blah, blah. And so like, they were all like super, like just like intense, like listening to what I was saying. And there was, there was one point where I was like, and so then once we get, whoa, everybody's looking at me. I was like, this is weird. Okay, so that I you know I got back into it, but it was so much fun. Like I want to chase that. I want to make more movies.
That's
so
cool. You should team up with some Nick Suriano and make some bangers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, maybe the next one. So I already talked to Hyperion Film, and they're on board with coming back for the next Orbit Jam, and they're like, we loved it. Like
That's awesome.
this is like the most fun we've had on a project, because everybody's usually they get hired for like music videos, and it's like, you know, in and out. It's like, okay, just do like, you know, some repetitive rap and have some lights, throw some money, have some, you know, half naked women, and call it a day. You know, like,
twerk.
like yeah. And it's just like, dude. So, but yeah, I think maybe my enthusiasm was contagious. And so, because what's funny is on day one, they're like, yeah, sure, we'll help you out. Yeah, whatever you need. And yeah, we'll make it work. By the second day, they're like, hey, Chris, what's up? Day 2, let's do it. By the third day, they're like, Chris, let's go. Let's get this. We had like inside jokes. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, this is, we became like a little family. It was just in like, I think in total we had 6 film days. So in total, I dropped roughly 20 grand on the entire project, like just out of my own wallet, because I just wished it existed. And I kept, like, people were telling me, they're like, oh, Chris, this is going to cost. I'm like, that's fine. I was like, we need to get this done. Like I have it.
I'll just come up with another deck. It's okay.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, like, once you're like in the zone, like you can't be stopped. And it's like, like the thing is, you're just like it's like problem solving, like extreme problem solving. It's like, all right, well, your camera is not going to show up. What are you going to do about it? It's like, shit. Well, we you know, the audio was messed up on this one shot. How are you going to fix that? It's like, oh God. Well, there's a dead pixel right here from this camera, from this angle. So how are you going to fix that? I'm like, oh Jesus. So I had to like learn how to how to like fix all these little tiny errors, these tiny little problems. It's very like minuscule, like so tiny. But to me, they were huge, you know?
Chris.
But yeah, the next Orbit Jam, dude, I have to outdo this, and I already have plans.
I have a plan for you. Okay, you ready for this? Don't fucking edit your own video next time.
Oh my God, yeah, pay someone else to do it.
And pay someone to do it. Pay someone to do it. Save your life 5 years. Let someone else do it, and fucking hand it to them, and 100%. Be like, yo, this is what I want. This is all the pieces. You go crazy, and then you get to direct that side of it as well.
So this is what I'm going to do for the next one. The next one, I'm going to hire a professional colorist to color it correctly. Yeah. And then I'm going to hire an editing team, maybe like 3 people, and I'm going to have them chop everything up. I'm going to have them sync audio, and I want them to give me like everything basically almost finished. And then it'll be up to me to kind of fine tune it. And I want to do the final touches on it. And I want to like do it, extra little, tiny adjustments. Because at the end of the day, I still want control over how it's going to look at the end. I cannot give it to somebody and be like, all right, edit it like this. And they're like, you mean like this? I'm like, sure, that works. No, like just finish 90% of it and let me take it the rest of the way. And so that's what I learned from this last experience. I'm never going to do this again.
Dude, that's good.
That's what happened, because like I said, I also did video too. And my other friend Tyler, not this one, he would do all the sound engineering, and I would do the color correcting, and because he's colorblind. And basically, this is why I don't edit our videos, is because I've edited so much video that I'm just like, I'm not doing it. Like, I would rather pay someone to do the editing, and I'll look at it after. And I mean, we've done it before. I mean, Tyler does a great job at it, obviously.
With the limited skill set I have, it gets done. But that's what it comes down to.
And obviously, we don't put crazy time into it. We only have so much time to put into it. But in the beginning, he would send me something. I'd be like, oh, just change that, and he would change that or whatever, But for the most part, I'm like, I'm going to let someone else edit. I hate editing video, man. It's so time consuming. And the only video I edit is when I work for a specific winery and they're like, we need a video. And
you gripe about it the entire time. And I love
do,
it.
but they're paying me fat cash. So I do it. But when it comes down to it, I hate, exactly. I gripe about it the entire time.
No joke. Like, Steve is not one to complain usually, but when he has to edit the video, I'll get random text message. He'll be like, dude, I hate this so much. And I'm just like, sorry.
I fucking hate video. It takes so long. People don't understand that editing a 1-minute video takes like 8 hours. They don't understand.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like looking at Mount Everest, and you're like, okay, I guess we'll just start hiking. I guess so. We'll just go up to the first 1,000 feet. All right, just 28,000 feet remaining. No big deal. Dude. Okay, so the thing with editing is, I don't mind it if it's something that I'm creating, that it's my own thing. I don't like editing other people's stuff. I've done it before. I did something for Brian Tudor a long time ago, and I just didn't enjoy it. There was not joy inside of me, and I was like, this is like draining my soul. But with Orbit Jam 7, different story. It was a labor of love. Like, yes, it was difficult. Yes, it was time consuming. Yes, it like made me dizzy. It made my heart do weird things. It made me almost have a nervous breakdown. Like, sure. But the thing is like, look at the final product. Like, that's what I kept telling Holly. I'm like, babe, I understand. I know from your perspective that I look like a madman. I know I look insane. At one point, the sun came up and I was editing, and I kind of peeked my head towards the bedroom, and Holly was just like just kind of like this, and she was like, I was like, hey, good morning. I was like, you sleepyhead, I've been up for the last 12 hours, or whatever. And so I was like, you should just wake up. Wow, you're just wasting the day away, And then I was like, babe, so I did this edit, and this song matched perfectly with this. And remember, I had that problem with that. Oh my God, I fixed the error and I figured it out. And she's like,
cool.
Wow, a lot of energy, babe. And I was like, I know.
It's so funny.
Want some breakfast? She's like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my God, man. I love it.
It's so true though. It takes a long time. Let's just say that. Don't do it yourself next time. Bring in a team, have them do it, and you'll be a lot happier.
Right. But you got the bucket list item done. That was the big thing,
On to the next.
Yeah, on to the next. And you know what? I'm always excited to see when you get a chance to check off a bucket list item, but that just means that whatever's coming next from you, like you said, even with Orb Jam, 8's going to be even more intense. Everything you do, it's always evolving.
So Orbit Jam 8, we won't have COVID restrictions anymore. So
that's going to be great.
That opens everything up. So I planned on having extras in the last one, and I was going to go to a different location. I was going to have a car scene. I was going to do all this stuff. I was going to rent a rain truck. So I was going to do all this, and then COVID hit, and I was like, I have to rewrite the entire script. And I was like, okay,
Just until later.
let's just adapt. Let's just adapt. And so I adapted, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
it's awesome, and we look forward to the next one, whenever that may be.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, a huge congratulations
Yeah.
to such a successful
Thank
endeavor.
you.
You know, it took a while, and it was worth it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I just found out how to read the V8 standards.
Oh, the marking.
Yeah, I didn't even, obviously I didn't put too much time in it, but my friend showed me, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's very easy. Very easy.
I'm like, it's pretty simple.
So basically, like for the V7s, that was our first time marking. Well, actually, really making like a marking on it. And I liked it, but I felt like we could do better.
Yeah.
I felt like we could make it even more clear. So with the V8s, it's as clear as day.
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's so easy.
Yeah.
But I think it's great because like if you're already a magician, like knowing what the card is, that's like an additional, like you're like now 5 steps ahead, so you can just relax and you have more flexibility,
Yeah.
like with what you're going to do with your effect.
Yeah.
So
it was funny because when Tyler and I were doing the top 3 video, we thought it was in the stars, because obviously they were moving, the galaxy was moving, and
the asteroids.
Yeah, and then I just found out because I didn't look into it. I'm like, oh, obviously we was like, anybody who figures it out, fucking great on them. Like, it's a lot of work to figure out. And then my friend told me literally yesterday how to do it, and I'm like, duh.
So I made 2 additions to the courts. So I added my mom and my sister.
Oh, cool. Which ones are they?
So it's the Queen of Spades.
Nice.
That's my sister. Her
cool.
name is Kimberly.
Oh, cool.
Goes by Kimmy. And this is my mom.
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts.
That's awesome, man.
So I decided, I was like, I was trying to get my mom in there for like the longest time. And she's like, no, I don't want my picture. No, I don't want it. Like, she's very like, she's Salvadorian. So she's very reserved with like all her, with everything, keeps everything close to the chest, But I was like, Mom, please, like, you need to be a queen in the deck. And she's like, okay, fine. And she's like, make me look pretty. I was like, Mom, you're already pretty. Shut up.
Don't you love when moms say that?
Yeah.
Photoshop me. Come on.
Oh, okay.
That's so
love
funny.
It. Absolutely love
we
it.
We love
dude.
it. They all have swords. It's cool.
It's dope, dude.
Right.
You did a great job with it.
We're excited. We're looking forward to what's next.
We're looking forward to Christmas, even more so now. So
yeah, Christmas is going to be crazy. Yeah,
dude.
Like.
Do we have a Hanukkah deck coming? No, I'm just kidding. Hanukkah orbits.
One day, Steve, you're gonna get your Hanukkah deck. I hope you like it.
It's so funny. I'm not even like really religious, and I always ask for a Hanukkah deck.
You better like use that thing every day if you get a Hanukkah deck.
Oh, I will.
I love it.
Kenneth Wayne's gonna make me a Hanukkah deck. We'll be good.
There you go. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was great catching up with you. And honestly, again, congratulations on the amazing, amazing success of this deck, of the collab, of the video. Everything just went great, man. I mean, I know you said you're going to go back into it, touch some things up this weekend and drop a 4K, but dude, I think everyone was amazed with it. All things considered, you did a spectacular job, especially with it being your first time really doing that level of, production. So
go easy on yourself this weekend, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
And make sure you sleep a lot before you dive into it this weekend too. Like, don't deprive yourself over a couple edits in a 4K version. So.
Oh, dude, and the key.
It's gonna be a leisure. It's gonna be just low key.
The key. I have the key. It's Mike and Ike's and hot tamales. If you get a bowl of Mike and Ike's and hot tamales while you're editing, it totally soothes the soul.
I ate a lot of like protein bars. I had bars just hanging out like underneath, like next to my computer, and every now and again I'll just be like editing and I'll like reach my hand down there and just open one up and just eat it and just keep going.
It's all about the Mike and Ike's, bro, and the hot tamales. You don't have to have a lot, just a few.
Steve
Oh
likes
my-
that old people candy.
dude, when you're busting through 18 hours of editing, you need something to hold you through the night. You don't want to down a ton of coffee or anything like that.
No, that doesn't work. So
Yeah.
it was kind of the opposite. I didn't drink coffee for like 2 days straight,
Nice.
and I was just drinking a lot of water, like a
Yeah.
bunch of water, because I didn't want any blood clots because I was like sitting down for so long. But there was times where I would like get up and I would like move my legs a little bit, and there like sometimes I would stand on the chair and I'd crouch like a gargoyle, and then I remember Holly coming into the office and she's like, "I'll come back later."
You need a sit stand Dex, dude.
I just got one.
Good.
Nice, very nice,
dude. You're all set for next time. Yeah, I have one too.
You're gonna crush it. That's awesome.
Yep, lifesaver.
Oh my god, man.
Lifesaver.
They really
Dude,
are, especially if you use it. Yeah, dude, Chris, it was a pleasure, man.
Yes.
Yeah, good hanging.
Dude, it really was. We will see you long before. What's up? Is that
Dex,
Dexter or Pete? Is it Dex?
Peachy.
Okay, see, Steve's wrong. There you go. That's why you asked.
They both look alike. Dex is older though, right? They're actual brother and sister, huh?
Yep, brother and sister.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see they're both doing well. I know last we spoke, I think Peachy was a little kind of on some recovery. So good to see she's doing good.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like she's doing fine.
She's living her best life for sure. She's glad you're not editing right now, Tara. I'm sure they were stressing along with you, man.
Yeah, they got me back now.
Yeah.
Dude, and we will definitely be keeping in touch way before Christmas. So thank you so much again for coming on. We can't wait to see what's coming up next with the Orbit brand and just with what you got in store, man.
Yeah, for sure, guys. All right.
And for everyone who hasn't checked it out, make sure to go check out Orbit Jam 7 right now. Link is in the description down below. Go check out Orbit. If you're still missing the V8s, go pick them up off Chris's site. And thank you so much to everyone. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. And Chris, I know you wanted to say something real quick there, but I wanted to get that roll out real quick.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. It's always good to be on the show.
Dude, it's a pleasure. We absolutely love chatting with you, man. We love what you do for the community. So thank you. And thank you all. Enjoy your evening, everyone. We will see you soon.
Peace.
Peace.